Buenos dias. It is Sunday. Welcome to the live. You know I'm consistent, so if we say we're gonna be here, we are here. What is the word for today? You know, I used to say, even when I was younger, I realized that life is full of surprises, and most of it is not pleasant. One of my pastors said in the past, life is littered with pain, with glimpses of happiness, which means we have more pain than happiness. You know, if you look at it, that's true. If you go back on your life and you say, oh, maybe it's 50-50, you've had as much joy as you've had pain. So the idea that we want or we expect things to just work out perfect, it's just utopia. We just have to get ourselves up. I need to get my fan going. Right? That we want, good morning, that we want our life to be full of joy and happiness all the time. That's not practical because it doesn't work that way. That life is you should expect more pain than joy. And what happens if you do that, then it gets your mindset right so that you don't get depressed or you don't say, oh, I didn't expect that. Good morning, Robin. Hola. So living with expectation that life is going to be challenging is the way to go. I have some marinara and I took it out, put it in the fridge, and it's still solid. So I just boiled some water and put it in there. So this is the word, just managing our expectations while we are enjoying every minute. Because if you get your mindset that when things happen, good morning, Maria. Estoy bien, gracias. Ah, thank you. Yes, the website came out really good, but it's still a work in progress. We still have more information that we need to add. But I think the developer did a pretty good job. I mean, I had to work with him, you know, really close. Why is this moving? Really closely, but he finally got what I was trying to say. You know, he just couldn't understand concept and color palettes and stuff. Black women build wealth. Hey, I love that name. Wonderful. So I think as we get older, we understand that life is not roses and rainbows, right? But you have to be careful you don't just look at it that way, then you become very negative, and that's not good, right? Yesterday we talked about mental health on our live. If you haven't seen that video, you probably want to go check it out. That how we manage our mental health and how to understand, taking, you know, to look back about your childhood and what happened and how you can own what happened. Get help if you need to so you can thrive, right? Because if you get stuck in the past of all the injustices and the negative things that have happened to us, to you, then we're going to be stuck in a rut. So as we move through this crazy life, I think we need to really be realistic to see that, and as a people, brown people, we've had another layer of stress and injustice, and you can ask the question, why us? I don't know, why not us? I don't have the answer to why us. And then the thing to look at too is that there are some people who are worse off than us. I know sometimes you get so into what is happening to you that you think that, happy Sunday, Julie, hey, you just kind of forget that other people are going through stuff too, and some worse than you. The whole world is just such a mess. Again, even though you've got all the messes, you got to say there is some good also. Good people with good heart. So it's that yin and yang, and you have to find a way to place yourself in the middle so you don't go to either left or right. And that's what extremism is. You can become totally right wing or totally left wing. I'm a centrist. I like to be in the middle. When you're in the middle, it gives you the opportunity to see both sides. And I think that's what, hopefully, as we mature, that's where we should get to a place where we stop questioning why. It is what it is. And what you can do in your little corner. You remember that word that said bloom where you planted? Yes. Whatever God has given you, use it to make this crazy world a better place as much as you can. Because you really can't change the tenet of good versus evil. They've always been with us and probably always will be. And then we don't know when our exit time is. We don't. So we have to always be living in the present. I always say that I used to listen to this pastor. He used to have a devotional in the morning, and then when he finished, he was a Christian, so he would talk about scripture or something, and then he would say, Lord, help me live this day in the light of eternity. If you live your life knowing that you're not going to be here forever, so you're going to be motivated to make every moment count, right? Because I'm blessed to have lived to be this long. I don't know how long I have. But if I say, let me make this day, let me try to be the best person I can be. Let me try to help if I can. Let me be kind. Let me spread those things. And then when it's time to go, you're light. Your spirit is free and you don't have any regrets. So don't live with regrets. And I tell people, if you need to talk to somebody, if you need to, not just like for mental health, but if you have some fractured relationship that you can heal, at least do your part. It may not be received the way you want, but you say, hey, how are you, sis? Oh, yes, okay, can we talk about whatever it is? I apologize to you, whatever. Just try to mend it as much as you can, and then you move on. And I tell people, if you receive it, great. You don't receive it, it's out of my hand. All right, that was my word for today. Live every day in the light of eternity and manage your expectations. Don't think that the world owes you all this stuff, reparation and everything. Let it go. Let it go. Because if you keep hanging on, oh, he owes me this, he did that, it's just going to weigh you down. Because there's always going to be somebody who's going to hurt you, who's going to deceive you, who's going to disappoint you. Yes. But then look at the ones who are really true to you. Just hang on to the positive and just shrug off the negative. I know it's easier said than done, but as you get older, it should get a little easier. True word, Maggie. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to dance. Yes, ma'am. Do it. Do it. Do it. I can laugh, but I don't do the dancing part. I have 3 left feet. All right, ladies. Today, I thought, last night, we did say that June was salad month. And last week, we made a knockout kale salad. I don't like kale, but I love that salad. Then I had a little bit of kale left. And then I said, what did I did? I cook some fish, and then I sauteed that kale because I didn't want to go bad with some peppers. I don't like the sauteed one. I just don't have a taste for kale. I used to put it in my smoothies, but so I'm just gonna make it do salad, different versions of it. All right. So I have been fasting a bit this week, not eating a lot. So I have a bunch of things in my kitchen, in my refrigerator that I need to get rid of before they go bad. So I'm like, what can I do? I have cabbage, I have peppers, I have zucchini, I have red cabbage, I have green cabbage, and then I have the 2 eggplants. I love eggplant. So I said, ratatouille, but with a twist. So what we're gonna do, we go into, I think I have one of these contraptions. I don't use it much, and I don't even know if I remember how to use it. This thing here, I'm not real good because I'm not very well coordinated, but I'm going to kind of shave the eggplant, slice it, and do the same thing with the zucchini. I have 3 zucchinis here. And then in another pot, I'm gonna cook the cabbage with carrots and peppers. Because the way I'm thinking in my head that I wanna plate that zucchini, I'm gonna do twirl and circle it, and then fill the inside with the cabbage. This is the creative part. Sounds like you have all the pieces to make a beautiful vegetable medley. Yes, but it's gonna be in a nice salad as well. Now salad, yes, I don't like lettuce. So when I say salad, it's gonna be arugula, pero, watercress, or kale. Those are the 3 greens that I'm gonna be using. I do not like lettuce at all. So we're gonna circle it on the plate, and then we're gonna fill the middle with the cabbage mix, slaw, whatever we wanna call it. And then I said, okay, what I'm gonna put on the side? I have some chicken breast, and I'm like, chicken breast? Maybe not. So I have the tuna, the fresh tuna that I had bought. I thought maybe I'm gonna cut a couple of, not too thick steaks. I love to poach tuna, but poaching tuna uses too much of my oil, and I don't wanna do that today. Because I just got this big extra virgin, and it's expensive. I gotta manage my expenses. So I'm gonna cook the tuna steak, 2 tuna steaks on the stove, but then I'm gonna, what's the word? That's the word I'm gonna say. It's like when you're doing chicken breast and then you put it in the flour mix, but I'm not doing flour. I have a little bit of veal batter, and then I'm gonna add some panko or Italian breadcrumb, roll the fish in it and cook it on the stove. And then we're going to plate it like that. I'm just thinking in my head, and we'll see how it comes out, okay? So right now I need to I'm gonna turn the oven on, wash my hands, and get the vegetables in, and then cook the cabbage, because the fish doesn't take long to cook. The fish won't take long to cook. Hola Greta, ¿cómo estás? Alca del Dia. ¿Dónde está? Where's that place? Oh, you're in Panama? Is it Panama flag? Alcalde Diaz. Alcalde means the mayor. I don't know what that is. But anyway, my thing keeps moving and it's like it's shaking. All right, let's see. All right, wash my hands, wash these, because we don't want to be here for a long time. All right, so, and I have some chives. That's gonna be good for decoration. I don't need that much. I don't know why they use so much chives, because we don't. When you poach something, you don't use oil. You just put the fish in a special pot or steamer. I don't have a steamer. I'm full of pot with water only. Oh, okay. But I've always poached my salmon in olive oil. You know, like an herb oil. Which I usually save the oil, but I just don't feel like doing it today. So, but thank you for the tip. I probably should get a steamer because I like to steam. I want to learn how to make, but that uses flour, dumplings, and I'm sensitive to that gluten now, so I have to stay away from it. All right, so we are going to put our eggplant and I know the sister doesn't want me to use oil. I'm sorry. I'm still using it. Okay. Julie, look what I found. I found 2 other spatulas. I thought I only had 1, so you don't have to bring me more. See what's gonna bring me some spatulas. If you've already gotten them, that's okay. Okay. I thought I had one of these things that you can sharpen your knife. We used to have to do that before every class with the sharpener, and then they came up with electric ones. Yeah. So but anyway, so today that's not what I'm gonna do. I need to continue adding to the website. And for the website, we're going to have a member-only section. And we're going to have our merch store that we've already secured the account with a company called Fourth Wall. And right now we have some t-shirts. We have stickers and a mug on that merch, you know, in the store, yes. And I am looking to add some ethnic stuff, like things from Panama, with our beautiful logo on it that our friend Greta created. So I keep telling y'all, if you're looking for a logo, hit my friend up. She's a genius. She's very talented. Now, I cook and I can be creative in the kitchen. That's about it. You've heard me say that. I don't have another creative bone in my body. I create businesses too. All right, let me just see if this is gonna work here. Let me just do it the way I know to do it. So we're going to do little slices, not too thin, but we want them to to be cooked enough. And so I don't know. I might mess it up, but we'll see. And we're gonna layer these. And I could have done like a vegetable eggplant lasagna. There is such a thing. But when you say lasagna, I'm thinking cheese, and I don't feel like cheese right now. Nice. Very nice. They came out good. And then we're going to season them, of course. And it looks like I only need to use one. I have something in the oven that I mean in the freezer that I could use with the next eggplant. All right, so this is not working. Let's just do this. More than one way to skin a cat. Yes. Because I want the marinara, and then I kind of mix it a little bit. It gives it a little nice color. Plus the marinara with the white wine, the flavor, it's gonna be good. All right, so we have that here. Then, I'm not gonna throw that away. Zucchini. This is the first one that I use. I'm just doing stripes with the, you notice I like to leave a little green. Yes. So how's everyone doing today? You guys are good? But if you have one of these things that you can use, I'm not very good at it, so that's why I'm not using it. But you could use it, you know, over here, I don't know what's available. And again, I have told people, I have yet to buy anything from Amazon here. Not one thing. I probably should, otherwise my account might be deactivated. Because you know, you have to have an account when you come over for your mail, and there is no mail here in Panama. So people get the account, you know, from like mailbox, etc., for packages. And I understand I heard somewhere, what did I read it? That mailbox, etc., is being acquired by UPS. Maybe I heard wrong. Can somebody confirm that? I was like, well, that's interesting, right? So if you're trying to get a package delivered, it's like a monopoly now. You don't have a choice but to use them. But there is UPS here. You can have your stuff delivered, but I have yet to do it. Very good. All right. So I have enough to wrap my what I'm thinking in my head. Because you know what? If you think it, create it. Right? And that's what God has given us, this gift of creativity. So we just need to use it. All right. So we got strips and strips. So now let's season. We're gonna season this. Olive oil. And I know if you don't use any oil and you want to do it without oil, adelante. Worcestershire. And I've been using a little bit of dark soy, which is, I think dark soy this is sesame oil. I love sesame oil. Just for that taste. And dark soy, un poquitito. Because of course it has a decent amount of sodium, so I have to kind of watch it. Even though I don't cook Asian that much. All right, now dry herbs. This is finas hierbas, fine herbs, which is a medley. Oregano, which I love. I love oregano. And in the way I'm going to cook this, I'm going to cover it up so that all the flavors can marinate better. This is dried thyme, but I'm going to use some fresh thyme as well. Thyme is very good. Very good to bring flavors. And Caribbean folks, we use lots of fresh thyme. All right. Now we have our pepper. I love pepper. Turmeric. I'm thinking color, a little bit. Because you know I love turmeric. I even put it in all kinds of stuff. I put it in my smoothies as well. All right. Adobo. Season that baby. Clavo de oro, no. Paprika, yes. I moved the paprika to the other level because I don't want to mix it with the cinnamon, which I did before. I had paprika in my smoothie one day. I was like, oh my gosh, Maggie. Oh, it's awful. All right, out of margarine. I'm going to add a little bit of red pepper flakes. You know, I like a little heat. If you don't have to do that. I like a little heat. Ooh, that's too much. Demasiado. That's too much means demasiado en español. Okay. Much is mucho. Too much is demasiado. All right. Okay. Of course, in the middle of the cooking, I'm gonna taste my, make sure that. How about a little ginger? In the veggie mix? I don't think so. A patch with the logo that we can pin or attach to our jacket. Yes, that's a good idea. I have stickers also. A patch. Yeah. Like if you had a shirt kind of embroidered, you mean? Yes, that's a good idea. Thank you. All right, I'm going to throw that in there. And we're going to, oh, that's not this one. Wasting anything. Okay, but with these veggie mix, you always need a splash of, you need some acid, not vinegar. You need some lemon or lime, okay? Vinegar has its place, that sometimes, you can substitute, but not with this. All right? All right, so let us put this in the oven. Won't take that long, maybe 15 minutes. It's gonna be cooked. And by covering it like that, you're gonna speed up the cooking process. All right. And this one is gonna be for the now I'm gonna cook the cabbage on the stove. So that is that. Let me save my eggplant. I'm gonna cook it with something else this week. I absolutely love eggplant. So now let's chop the rest of the cabbage so that we can, and then this cooks really fast too. All right. This is what you do when you're in your kitchen. You're like, okay, what do I have and how do I get rid of this? What can I do with it? And I don't like to waste food. So you're always gonna see me say, okay, what do I have? And how do I use it? Now, because of what I'm gonna use the cabbage for, I don't want big pieces. I want small pieces because I want it to fit inside my twirl. Call it that. I love red cabbage. Why they call it red, I don't know, because it's purple. Now this one, I can make a bigger pot because then I can snack on it later. It doesn't have to be exactly what I need. I love cabbage. I use cabbage all the time. And of course it cooks down, so it cooks down really fast. So you're gonna get the core out. I know Julie will like this one because she's a vegan. And everybody cooks cabbage a bit differently. They'll say fried cabbage, but it's not fried. I don't know, why do you call it fried cabbage when it's not fried? But, you know, you just fix it up and you add spices and then you can add carrots and other things. This is one of those vegetables that is very generous. It will work for you, and it's a perfect side, so you don't ever have to worry about it. And it goes with everything, grains, meat, right? And here in Panama, when you get the cabbage, the beautiful green outer leaves, they pull them out. I'm like, no, don't do that. I want the green part. Oh. They said, no, that's not good. We give it to the pigs. I'm like, what? They did the same thing in South Africa. Take the beautiful green leaves, which is where all the, you know, all of the vitamins and stuff. They look at me with like I had 3 heads, but I'm like, no, this is good, don't throw it away. And they still threw it away. What do you do? This is where you respect culture, right? That's the way they do it. Let them do it. Oh, the spinach in South Africa was wonderful. They came in this big bag. Here in Panama, they're kind of hardy. The leaves are kind of hard. But in South Africa, they were beautiful green. And that was kind of cheap. I was like, okay. All right. Let me use one of those squash. You know what? Let me use these because otherwise they're going to get soft and go bad and I will feel bad if I don't use it. Ooh, I need to use those radishes. They've been sitting here. Look at the size of the radish here in Panama. Yes, Greta is very talented, and I want to push her where people are going to use her skill. Now this radish is peppery, and I'm going to peel it because, and I think it's going to be good. Maybe I'll add it a bit later for a little bit of crunch and not put it in there with the cabbage in the beginning, right? Because you're always looking at texture when you're cooking. And you want a little bit of a contrast, right? Yes. What else do I have? I have some peppers, but the peppers I can use like when I'm cooking. If I cook a couple of eggs, I just like to put some peppers in there. You know, these are the things that I try to always have in my fridge. Ooh, this one's messed up. And they don't last very long. Okay, this one is bad, so we're gonna let it go. Let it go, let it go. I want to go see the movie with The Rock, when The Rock is singing. Is it Moa or Moa? I want to see that. I don't know, maybe today. If I'm not feeling bad. But I always like to cook squash with zucchini. But squash is not as easy to find. No, it's zucchini. I was surprised when I found this, and that's why I went ahead and bought it. But when I'm doing the zucchini, I don't peel it here. Right? So vamos. I saw a chef on Instagram this week, and she's like, every chef should know that. And she's like, this is a 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. Have you seen her when she's talking about 1 pot this to make like some salad dressing? And I'm like, yeah, that's ingenious. Like she thought about doing it like that. You know, I guess I'm not that creative either. But I love zucchini. I think it's a very versatile, easily digestible type of veggie. So if you find them in your neck of the woods, just get it. It will serve you well. Alright, a quick rinse, and then we're gonna cook these. I got 2 half onions. We have the red onion and yellow. We're gonna use that. I need some garlic. Ooh, and the rest of the green onions, we're gonna use that as well. Nothing goes to waste in Maggie's kitchen. Not if I can help it, right? But sometimes I don't get to it in time. Because I don't cook during the week, I really don't. You know, like I needed some protein, so I had some fish. And that's how I cooked the fish this week, and I liked the way it tasted. It wasn't just sauteed, so that's what we're gonna do with our tuna today. So as soon as this is cooked, we're gonna attack the tuna. Attack is a strong word. All right. I remember when I worked at Disney, and I was a prep cook, right? So I was prepping a lot of things. And let's see. I'm gonna use something that's gonna be fast. And so you would have like on your assignment so many boxes of lettuce that you had to, did we chop it or was that a machine? I think you chopped it. And then we had these big tubs, sinks, that you would fill up and put all lettuce in there, let it soak, and then you would shake it real good. And then we had this big red container, but it was a lettuce dryer. And then you would put the lettuce in there and then you would just churn it like that and you dry the lettuce. And then you would put it in plastic bins. So every time the cooks would need something, they would come and grab. And then, sometimes it depends if you had a holiday, and I mean, we were busting it. Sometime I was assigned to the salad dressing section. I love that. We made, regular Italian. We made, what is it again? When you put all the white stuff. What is it? Ranch. We made ranch. We made all kinds of salad. I loved it. And the one station I hated the most was the meat section. Oh my God. It was cold, and then you had to keep everything at a certain temperature, and then you had to weigh and then wrap. Oh my God. Everything was portioned. Everything was portioned. This is where you learn. Running a restaurant is hard work. Hard work. And that's why, I was kind of killing myself with my little cafe, because it doesn't matter if it's a restaurant or a cafe, you are busting it. Oh my God. I was so tired all the time. To the point that when I was coming home, I would get there at 6:30, cook breakfast, get ready for lunch for the lunch crowd. So that's why you had to always be prepping, right? And we used to make lots of soup. We had a soup that we made chicken rice. Is it lemon chicken rice? Oh, that was a very popular soup. You got 2 purple cabbage. Good for you, Greta. And we did vegetables. We did potato soup, which, is not something that I've ever liked. I'm just not into potatoes like that. But it was. And then, when people came for lunch, they only had so much time. And we did delivery. People would be calling, and put in. I'm telling you, it was work. Whew. We made chicken fajitas and stuff like that. And, I loved it, but it was just so much work. And then when people finished, because we closed at 2, then you had to do the dishes, if you had a dishwasher. If you didn't, you were the dishwasher too, or if they didn't show up that day, which happens a lot. And so then I would have a list. I had a beautiful cooler, but I had so many things, boar's head, cold cut, and all kinds of stuff. And then if there were things that I needed, then I had to go to Restaurant Depot or not Walmart. We went to Sam's a lot to get stuff, especially like ground beef and stuff like that. And chicken wings, the quality was better. Then I had to return it to the cafe. So by that time, it's like 5 or 6 or 7. And then I had to head home. And I would be so tired. On several occasions, I would be coming up to a light and I would bump the car in front of me because my eyes would shut. And I think one day one sister said, do you remember you were, I think I was doing a live or something, and she said, your eyes closed. I'm like, well, I guess I was tired. I was like, oh my gosh. After the fourth time, I said, I'm just gonna have to, sell my house and get an apartment closer to the restaurant. And I was ready to do that. But I'm so glad I didn't. Because when I decided to close the restaurant, I still had my house. After I lost so much money, because at the restaurant, I had it for 2 years. And I was just coming up to a time where I could break even. You know, when you do the analysis, your expenses, your rent, all this stuff, and people don't realize how much running a restaurant costs, because you have all these mandatory cleanup and things that you have to do, because it was like a hospital. The inspector would show up unannounced at any point. If somebody made a complaint, they would come and investigate, which we didn't have. I don't remember getting any of those, for cleanliness or anything like that. But you're dealing with rude customers, and oh my God, it was a lot. But you know what? Every time I go through something, I said, I learned from it, and I became stronger. Now these are the little green onions. I'm putting them in here. You can only improve the taste of the dish, right? All that green, and I do have some vegetable stock that I made this week with all the things from, broccoli and other greens. But I enjoy being in that little restaurant, especially cooking food and people coming and telling you how much I enjoy it. We did the quesadillas, and we did lots of wraps. And, I think I'll do wraps one day. You know what, I don't do wraps here? Because the size of the wraps are like very regular, and to make a sandwich, you need a larger size. Not a sandwich, a big lunch wrap. We did a breakfast burrito that was very popular. And we had chicken wrap, and I did a veggie wrap that people loved. And I created what I call aiolis for my dressing, for my, for the sandwiches and for the wraps. This is what I do, the mayo, and then you season the mayo with fresh herbs and fresh garlic. Oh, it was so good. So good. And again, this was the creativity part that I loved. Then we had a coffee station where we made really good lattes. And then we had the smoothie station, and I still have my smoothie recipes. And as I said, skin tonic was my most popular, and I need to do a version of it. I'm just not going to use the mango puree. It had too much sugar. Ooh. When I realized how much sugar was in that thing, I was like, ooh, oh bueno. Gotta watch the sugar. That's why sodas and juices and stuff, you're not gonna find those here in my house. I've never liked soda, never. So, or beef. I mean, I don't really care for beef. Except oxtail, and that's different. I fell in love with the black eyed peas, that I did last time I did a salad. But I think I'm going to cook black eyed peas like I would do a lentil. But I'm going to use like what they call patas here, which is the leg of the cow with all the collagen, not the hooves, right? But you cook it down. I think I'm going to have to break down and get a pressure cooker. Not yet. Because going from that black bean that took forever. All right, let's season this before we put the greens in. And then we're gonna let it go. Woo. That looks so pretty. I love putting fresh ground pepper in food. That's crazy. How can something like that make you feel good? Yes, it does. Don't know why. But you know, cooks are weird like that. Paprika. Smells good. Worcestershire. So now you know I have a trio now. Worcestershire, sesame, and soya morena. Is that what they call it? Oscura. Oscura. Ah, obscure. For dark. Okay. Sometimes they use moreno, morena for brown or dark. Alright. Now, herbs. You know I gotta have herbs. This is thyme. Now we have a generous pot here. And oregano. And of course we're gonna let it cook and then we can doctor it up. At the end, but later. Alright, so now we're gonna put our greens in. As soon as it comes to a boil, it's gonna cook down really fast. Take time to season your food, folks. There's a little water in my pot. Put a little bit of it in because I don't want this to be too wet. So we're gonna let this cook, and it stays here because that's the larger burner. All right. So now, let's see if my marinara, yep, my marinara has thawed down. This is the marinara that I had in the freezer. It was frozen this morning, so I boiled some water and put it in that bain-marie. Not bain-marie, just hot water. All right. So, I don't know, I bought this like for $5 here, but I can't use this, so probably gonna throw it away. All right, so now we're going to get ready for, this is my radish. I'm gonna remember that halfway, I'm gonna cut it and put it in here. So, next we get our tuna. You know I don't like a dirty kitchen. Let's see, my tongues. Let me see what my eggplant is looking like. Ooh. know what I'm going to do here is come down. I'm going to pour some veggie broth in it because I need it to be a little bit more moist. Veggie broth. Now, I'm going to put my peppers in. Ooh. I forgot to put my carrot in there. I'm going to throw it in there. I only have one carrot left, so why not? Now I see I have squash in there. Okay, next week I got to do something with squash. Nothing goes to waste. Nada. Okay? So, when you're trying to manage your budget, try not to throw food away. What scraps you have, whatever left over, make something out of it. So remembering the size of the stuff that we have in there. So oh my God, we used to slave over these cuts. The potato tournée. Ooh. Give me nightmares. Take it. We're going to throw that in here. Again, it's going to give you a nice contrast in color, right? And you know carrots are good for your eyes, so use the carrot. I love carrots. And the lady with the book is saying, oh, don't you think if you eat it raw, it's the best way? Lady, you're making things complicated. All right. So, for the, now if you're vegan, like Julie, you can do that mixture and then put some grain on the side, or you could do pita chips or pita boats. You know, I've done pita pockets and stuff like that. I think next week, maybe I want to do some veggie balls. I haven't made veggie burgers, veggie balls in a while. And I'm craving that because it's so versatile. You can fill pocket. I have made like a sandwich, you know, with it, but again, no bread right now, so or even the pockets I'm not buying these days. Not until my birthday, till I get back to what my goal is. All right, so I'm catching fish, but I don't have a choice. All right, this is the tuna, my fresh tuna. So, oh, then I'm gonna have to clean my board. All right, let's use the small board, so I can only have to wash this one. Now, this one is for my fruit. Let me get another one. I have 4 boards, but only one large one. And of course, before I put it anywhere, I'm putting this little thing at the bottom because it keeps the board from sliding. And when you do that, it keeps you from accidentally cutting yourself. Always put something underneath your board. Safety in the kitchen. I was always amazed that when I work at Disney and we had like 5 or 6 cooks and throngs of us doing preps, and we had a salad thing, we had the bread section, we had the dessert section. I mean, it was like buzzing, people moving around, moving. And then, you know, they hitting that little bell. It's like, you have so many minutes to get this thing done. Maggie, is wrap healthier than eating bread? Not really, because you have white wraps, you have whole grain, and even the whole grain, you know, like if you buy whole grain, whole wheat bread, and it says it's healthier, you know, I'm a skeptic, so I don't know. It's still carbs, in my book, right? Definitely prettier. Especially when you do the one that's like, you know, they have the sun-dried tomato one. We used to buy that. And then they had the spinach one. Is it really spinach? Make it green? Mm-hmm. You know, I don't believe anything these people tell me. But, all right. So I gotta see. I don't want this to be too big, the size. So I'm probably going to cut this tuna, atún. That's how they call tuna there in Espanol, atún. All right. So all those are gonna go. Yeah, I think this size is good. So we're gonna do, and because I don't want a lot of it in the house, I think I'm gonna take some to my friend up on the, in a different floor. Last time she's like, oh, it's good enough to devour. I said, next time I cook, I'll bring you something. Okay, let's see. I think this is a good size. Mira esto. Beautiful, right? So we're gonna do, I'm gonna take some to her. So I'm gonna do 4 steaks. And it's very delicate, so that means it's not gonna take long to cook. Look at that. And you know, I remember at the restaurant too, they would bring the salmon, and no one could touch the salmon but the head chef. And he would put his apron on, and then he'd go, ugh, and then you can weigh the salmon, and it was exactly what he wanted. I think it was like 6 ounces or something. I was like, wow, that was it. I mean, and that chef that I had, he was hot. He was so handsome. And then he would come in the morning, like he come from the gym, and all of us would be like, I wasn't married, I was divorced at the time, so what? He was hot. And I have not met very hot chefs. They're usually fat and out of shape. But that one, woo. I think he was Cuban. You know, he had that, you know, that olive looking skin and nice hair, and he had like a dimple. Why did God do that? Give all that to one person? That's not fair. And every time I talk like that, my kid would be like, Mom, I'm like, I'm just old, but I'm not blind. What's wrong with you? I can see. I can admire from afar. What's wrong with that? Oh my God. All right. Ooh. See? Wasn't that good foresight? Now I can clean this board, put it in the sink, and then I can still continue. Yeah. Okay. So, wash the hands again. All right. So now we have, okay, my burner is working, my cabbage is working. Okay, so I have 4 steaks here. Beautiful. So I'm gonna put a little bit of vinegar. rinse it off. Very gentle with this. 4 sticks, nice. So 2 for me, 2 for my sis. Okay. Alright. So now we're gonna lightly season this fish. And if you know fish, they don't require a lot of seasoning. But the lemon juice you put last, because once you start putting the acid in it, it starts cooking the fish. That's the idea behind ceviche, right? Alright. Another thing I need to do for my my eggplant, so now I get to taste to see what the taste is like before I add the marinara, okay? And of course the marinara is going to tie everything together and bring up the taste. And let's see. It's actually pretty good. Actually pretty good. Alright. So we're going to put, and you know our marinara is made with white wine. So it's not your average marinara. So what I want to do first is maybe move some of those, because you have the one on the bottom. Ooh. I'm going to go ahead and season a little bit more the one on the bottom. I want it to cook, but I want to be able to handle it. So it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? So let's douse it with some marinara, not too much. All right. I'm going to leave it here. I'm not going to add a little bit to the, ooh, look at that, the cabbage. All right, so this is going to go back in. This is what was left of my mustard dressing. I'm going to throw it out and add a little bit in here. Yes. All right. You go back in, baby girl. More. I showed you before how I make the marinara, right? If you want me to show you again, let me know. All right. Now this is the fish. A little bit of olive oil, extra virgin. gonna thaw out the dressing in here. I'm gonna wait a minute because this is glass and I don't want it to pop in there because it's too hot. I just want it to be warm, so I can put that here for now. So I had a little bit of oil, and it's the same thing. I don't think I'm gonna put the impairing in the fish. Nope, not the Worcestershire, but just a little bit of soy. Definitely sesame. You know, like if you wanted to seal some tuna, right? And then you put it on the pan and you cook the outside nicely so that when you cut it, it's still kind of raw in the middle. And then you make this dressing. But I'm not that in love with that kind of cooking, so I don't do that. A little bit of adobo. You know, fish doesn't need a lot of seasoning. It's not like meat. No paprika, but definitely some herbs. I'm doing herb de Provence. I've been rationing this and not just use it ad lib as I do the other ones. This is oregano. I know. You say oregano and fish? No, actually, I use oregano with almost everything. You want to put a little bit of salt in here because I haven't used salt today yet, right? You notice that. And then when I'm almost ready to cook it, that's when I'm going to squeeze the lime juice. Yes. So we're going to let it sit here, or maybe I'll just stick it in the fridge. You know what I want in here? I want some fresh cilantro, which I have. Cilantro, ooh. I forgot. Now I like a little, this is Scotch bonnet, so, oh, I gotta put some garlic, I forgot. This is Scotch bonnet, it's a little hot. Yesterday I did my fish and I put a little bit, I mean it was good for me, but I'm thinking for someone else it might be hot. All right, let's put the bottles in here. To thaw out my dressings. All right, so I'm putting a little bit, not much. This is some Scotch bonnet pepper, right? I'm putting only a little bit, right, because it's for me. And of course I would put more if it was just me, but I don't know if my sister will be able to handle it. So I'm gonna go really easy. But you know, I'm surprised to find some Caucasian people who love heat. I didn't think they would, but yeah, they're like, oh yeah, bring it on. I have a sister here, well, she was married to a Caribbean person. She loves heat. I was like, wow. And I like heat, but not a lot. There was a chef I used to follow in the States. Everything he did was hot. I'm like, no, not like that. I don't want it that hot. Okay. I want to make some rosemary oil today. I want to wash my hair and I'm out of rosemary oil. So I need to do some. Yesterday I kind of bummed out. After the live, my landlady came in and fixed something. The toilet was running. She brought her husband, they fixed it. then I just stayed out on the balcony and did not do anything else. All right, turn the heat down on this one. Garlic. Some of my best. What is garlic? It's not an herb. I guess it's a spice. A root. We got fancy names for them if I recall. Tuber something. Alright. So we need garlic in the fish, of course. Alright. And cilantro. Fresh herb. And like I say, cilantro is one of those, if you don't use it right away, it withers and dies. So, parsley or cilantro? I think they call cilantro, culantro chino over here. They say Chinese culantro. I'm like, ooh, I didn't know it was a Chinese herb. And they have a lot of, what is that thing that I like? They call it mustard green, but it's not what we call mustard green. Alright, in the fridge until I get these things totally ready. Let's check on our cabbage and make sure the taste and everything is good. Yeah, I could feel it was getting at the bottom, so that's why I turned the heat down. Now see, you can eat this over some rice or any kind of grain, right? Because you know you're getting good stuff, right? Yeah. Scotch bonnet to the rescue, always, right? And even sometimes, you know, when I'm cooking like rice and stuff, you just throw a whole Scotch bonnet pepper in your food and you get the flavor from the skin, minus the heat, okay? So this is perfect to put on the inside of my round thing that I'm thinking of making. We'll see if it works. We shall see, but I think this is good. Let us taste it, make sure the taste is on point. And we're gonna add a little bit of acid. I think I already added acid. Oh, what did the other one? I think it was the other one. All right, I've added. It's really good. Simple, it's not fancy. So I'm squeezing a little bit of that acid in it. It's gonna take it to the next level. Yes. Ooh. A little adobo. You know what else I want to add here? A little bit of fresh thyme. Just because my palate says I should. Fresh thyme. I am also adding some marinara. I think I want the color to improve a little bit. Marinara has been like a rescue drug when I'm cooking because I put it in everything, you know, my soups. I put it in everything. Because I think the wine just kind of gives it a little je ne sais quoi. And I think it could use a little turmeric. And you know, you can't ever go wrong with turmeric. Add it to your food. Add it to your smoothies, your soups. I don't know about the salads, but anything that's cooking. And I put it in my smoothies. Alright, one last test. It's not salty. One last thing. I'm doing a little bit of Monte au beurre with a little butter. If you're vegan, leave it off. All right, I'm happy with it. The texture is just right. So I'm gonna let whatever little, no, I think I'm gonna leave that because I might need that. A little bit of moisture in it. All right, so we're gonna put it back here. It's gonna stay there, and then we're gonna work on our cook our fish, and then we're done. Yes, 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 yes. Remember that cooking is therapy. We don't need to be rushing through it. All right. So I am going to use my new skillet. I've been using it. But what I need for the fish, in addition to the lime juice that I'm going to squeeze in it, remember you do it at the end when you're ready to cook it. So the lime juice is going to be nice and fresh. It's going to enhance the flavor. Oh, that's my left hand. All right. Ooh. But I'm gonna cook it a little bit different today. So what I do, I'm gonna make a coating for this fish. And as I said, a I think I came home from the state with a little beer batter mix. I know it's prepackaged, but you know, I never said I was 100%. So I'm using a little bit just to dust the fish. And then I put a little bit of plain panko or breadcrumb, right? That's it. So that is not going to hurt anyone. So we have only 4 steaks. So a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of butter. Remember, this is New Zealand butter. I trust food from Europe over anything in America. You know that. Their standards are definitely better than ours. They don't allow all these junk stuff to get into their food supply, but we do because it's all about making a profit. You know that. If you need to preserve it and not let it die, yeah, you'll do it. You know it causes cancer, yeah, they'll do it. I have no faith in those systems. Nope. Because I know they don't have my best interest at heart. It's all about making money. So we're gonna throw some, when I cook fish now, I do this. I throw some garlic and some rosemary. Now the Jamaicans would put like a Scotch bonnet pepper. I don't need to do that here. But you could, if you wanted to. All right, easy does it, don't burn it. Turn the heat down. Where's my rosemary? We're just trying to get the flavor to be on point. That's all. You're flavoring the oil. All right? So you think you put a fish in this and it's not going to taste good? Of course it is. All right, here's my crumb, my coating. Easy does it. 1 steak. And you see how lightly I dust it? It's not a lot. Gonna be just big enough for 3. Oh, this steak feels heavier. It's thicker. It's mine. And the last one. I see. Alright? Of course, you know, fish, you don't ever want to overcook it. We're just about ready to plate. We have our cabbage mix. Put those things away. Probably gonna need some lemon. I have 1 potato. I don't know what to do with it. I think I'm gonna cook it with some eggs. You know, just put it in there next to the eggs and cook it on the stove. This is where the basting comes in. Let it soak up all that yummy, fragrant oil, olive oil. And we're going to use that garlic there. Nice. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do to plate, let me get the eggplant out. Ooh. Eggplant is out. And that off. Okay. Spatula. Yes. Well, they look like pork chops. I haven't had pork chop. I was tempted. Last week I went to the fish market looking for like a thick pork chop. I couldn't find it. They were like very thin. So I was like, okay, it's a good thing. You don't need to be eating that anyway. They definitely look like pork chops. All right. So, how am I gonna use this eggplant, Maggie? You are giving yourself a challenge. Okay. Not that one. Definitely. So I get to choose which ones I use for plating. Okay. Now this fish looks amazing. Look at this beauty. Play with your food. Play with your food. This one's a little thicker, so I'm going to put it in the middle. But it looks like it needs to cook a little more. But the others are fine. And we can even use these stuff as decoration because, you know, you don't put anything on your plate that's not edible. That is a principle of cooking. All right, let's see what I'm going to do to myself and embarrass myself with y'all. I think this is a nice plate for one. And you know, nowadays I do 2 plates. Yeah, I'm going to use my I love this little Chinese round thing. Let's see what we're going to do. So I can start trying to create like a funnel. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. You want the scraping? I know. All right, let us see. Ooh, look at those colors. Wow. You see what you can do to your fish You don't just do it, you know, pork chops, I'd have to put it back in the oven, make sure it's cooked. You could do that, but you'd have to put it back in the oven. But the fish, you don't have to. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, I'm gonna turn the heat off and let it sit here. So now, we're gonna try to play with this eggplant. So, don't embarrass me. All right, let's see what we're gonna do here. We're gonna create like a funnel with the eggplant. All right, that's the plan now. If it fails, do not laugh. That's a good one. I like this one. And this is a little one, that's good. You know, it's like you learn how to use that thing, and when you're putting pasta, and then you just pick it out. That's the principle. So you got to play with your food and move it around and make it do what you want it to do. Okay, that's good here too. And of course, I have my marinara. I can use the marinara to add a little color to whatever. So I'm going to take this off the heat because I don't want the fish to overcook. Okay? And that's why when people say they want their steak well done, every chef we tremble. Because we're like, what? No. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. That makes it easier. I'm going to make it like a rope. That's even better. Oh, now see? This just came to me. Oh, baby. You like to play too much. We're gonna make a rope out of it. Oh, yes. More of the eggplant. Wow. An eggplant is it's very compliant in terms of a veggie, but it's got so many uses. You know, you could make a lasagna out of it. You can chop it. You've seen me chop it in when I make legume, right? All right, so here, and let's twist it like so. Yes, we made a funnel. Yes. Hercules. But I think I need to make the funnel a little narrower because we got to leave room for our fish. Funnel, then we go for the cabbage mix. Goes in the middle. Ooh, remember, you want elevation. Now, I can put the fish right on top because I think 2 pieces might be a bit much. Or maybe I have 2 smaller ones. Yes, that might work. That might work. Okay, I need some carrots to show up here. Give me some contrast. Yep, you don't want everything to look the same. You want to add different color and texture. Something crunchy. Oh yes, here we go. Now for the fish. I get so excited. And the other one, que sopa. Que sopa. Woo. And then, oh my gosh. Now remember that the eggplant is soft, the cabbage is soft, right? So if somebody starts eating this, they're not gonna choke on it, right? Okay. And we're gonna use our, yes. Oh my goodness, look at that. We're gonna use our rosemary that we used as a decoration. And here goes the garlic. The garlic that was cooked in that yummy oil. And I have some dill. Oh, chives, not dill, chives. We're gonna use some chives as a decoration. Sometimes you can twist them, or you could just leave them like this. And voila. And if I wanted to do something else, I could use some of my dressing. It needs a little bit more mustard. Not grainy Dijon, it's Dijon. These are my leftover, this is a leftover dressing that I am going to use to drizzle on the plate a little bit, see? Yes, to make it nice and creamy. Please. Oh my gosh, I just love to play with the food so much. You could do this. Do you see sometimes you see the chef do that with oil? Ooh, good. All right. Ratatouille, some type of ratatouille with, this is tuna that is cooked on the stove. So we have eggplant, we have cabbage. So I am keeping with my theme of no grain. Look at that. Yes! All right, let's see what else I can do. Anything else I can create? All right, this one. Of course, I don't want the veggies on top of my fish. So the veggies is gonna be just the veggies. I'll put my cabbage. Yes. Ooh, good portion. And some eggplant. Of course, you're always looking for height, right? A little bit more. And we're gonna have one steak on top. Let it be slanted, that's okay. And we're not gonna use this dressing here, but we're gonna put some lime wedges, and then the chives as decoration. And then I get the lime wedges back and I put them in my tea or in my water. Okay. And chives. Or you could use, you know, any herb that you have. And that would do it. I think maybe we'll add, since the cabbage is sweating in here, so we'll go ahead and add a little bit of our dressing in here. So we don't want it to look lonesome. Yes, I guess I'm done playing today. This is the other plate. One day fix some pepino and lemon juice to drink with meal. Pepino. Oh yeah, cucumber and lemon? Sure, absolutely. All right, ladies, thank you for hanging with me today. Of course, you know, I like to play with my food, and today was no different. So we cooked eggplant, cabbage. We came up with some recipes to enjoy the greens, and this is tuna. You wouldn't believe it's tuna. It's not corvina. It is tuna, fresh tuna. Yep. So I'm gonna take one to my friend, and then the rest for me. Yes. All right, guys, thanks for hanging with me. I will see you next week. And God loves you. Have a beautiful day.